Greetings, just for the expansive yoga family. Sound, what we was talking about, what we alluded to in discussion on Monday, and this is just a recap. It really benefits the truth seeker or the conscious grower to really understand the power of sound. Now, I've done some vids years ago about the power of silence, and it totally intertwined and connected and really touched on sound and understanding. Like when you tune into these frequencies, however you want to see it, you can really kind of bring to life the different multi-dimensional dynamics that are within. It's good to know what you're working with, just put it that way. As beings, when we're dealing with all these kind of insights and growing in our consciousness, we come here with a massive toolkit, and these tools are finely crafted, but we forget how to use them, and we forget that we have those at our expense, especially when we're trying to reconnect to kind of, whether it's nature or universal forces or God or health or each other, spirit. We've got so many tools at our disposal, and that's why sound was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, actually, for those in the discourse, in the class, but Detox jumped in front of it. That session, relevant. When you know what you're working with, you will know what you can work, you will know what you can build, you will know like the extents to which your experience or consciousness of you being a being can really bring, in the experience, liberty, in the healing capacity, in that kind of that kind of expansive connection, whether you call it spirituality or mindfulness or consciousness or just healthier, or if you're into different healing therapies, or just extreme relaxation and just that kind of nirvana or blissful feeling, or just that escapism. Man, we've got so many sharp tools in the box, but we have to we need refreshers on how to use these tools, and the insights only offer that. Not for everybody. It's not to say this is what it is, you need to know this. No, it's not your time, but as long as the seed's planted, when the season's right, the seeds will sprout. Simple. And as I say, it's for those who have ears to hear or eyes to see. We've all got ears and eyes, but it just depends when we want to look in certain directions or certain things. Why is sound relevant? And what I want to do is connect it to a lot of multi-dimensional kind of realities, i.e. consciousness, levels of consciousness. So to say, a lot of sciences will determine that we are all a product of light and sound frequency. The whole reality is constructed by sound waves and light waves, universal sound waves and light waves. So light, optical illusion, and hence illusion, because he has to create the dream state, all comes from the mind first, and then everything tangible. But we know everything tangible or everything solid, one of the rules of physics is nothing is, or laws, nothing is still in this reality. Everything is moving at a certain vibration. That's important to know, vibration. So vibration is, it's a byproduct, it's a response maybe to sound. However, and it's that sound penetrating whatever the solid is that creates a vibration, and a vibration creates a tone. Now, there's so many different sound frequencies and waves in our reality. We cannot hear them all. We can only hear a small fraction. We can only hear, I think it's about 20,000 hertz, or so whatever the metric sound measurement is. Decimals. Sorry, but I think it changes depending on which part of the science you're looking at. But so nothing is still. That means everything has a sound, has a resonance. Everything, whether it's a rock, we discussed. If you imagine a rock has to grow. A smooth, polished stone doesn't just exist like that. It's still going through a continuous process of transformation. And why the sound? And so it's at a certain state of vibration, and the rock is moving at a very, very slow vibration, but it's still moving, it's still alive, it's still vibrating. That means it has sound running through it. It has a tone, it has a resonance. It is a mineral. So it's alive, it's growing. Now, when we first enter, conception, the first thing our conscious spirit soul is aware of is we are connected to a mother. Yeah, you enter another realm, you're connected to a mother, a source. Yeah, and in that source, one of the first things that is stimulating our consciousness is the beat, the heartbeat, the sound. It's the rhythm of life. It's the first rhythm of life. It's the first beat we're ever introduced to, and that beat does not stop. Your heart is constantly beating. There's constantly a sound, and when you go in or kind of pop your ears, or like if you ever hear on a stethoscope, you can hear that sound. It sounds a bit like a beatbox. That's what's going in, but we don't hear that from the outside. But when you go in and amplify that sound, that is going off. You hear your belly going off. You hear all kinds of organs and gases and juice. There is such an orchestra going on in the body. Even when you kind of manipulate your eardrums a little bit internally, you can hear your voice resonate. It's like echoing, like you're in a big cathedral hall. And you can. And when you play with these sounds and tones, just humming, your vibrational tone, it is really stimulating and healing. You feel really invigorated by it. That's because sound is a healer. Now, there's a universal sound, the that and you got ra and shu in Kemetic yoga. We're gonna do some this week, Monday, actually. Yeah, powerful resonances through the body, just you generating this sound frequency. And the thing is, like, what I want to bring to the attention is we live through sound. Like, sound is such a construct of the reality. Now, when we kind of pay its correct homage, it will, you will be able to hear it more. And this is where listening and hearing is very deep, because it turns into a feeling sensation, because it's actually a communication. Sound is a communication, but if we can only hear sounds to certain levels, then we can't suggest that there's not a communication going on, which is not a sound wave vibration, which is basically what this called as a longitudinal wave rather than a transverse wave like light. Yeah. So the point is, everything in the reality alludes to this. It kind of tells you what you is and what you're made of, sort of thing. And I just want to start by introducing some of the vernacular. Now, what dictates our presence? So if I was to call the register to see if you're present, you identify your presence by stating here. If I was to say, all right, John McAvoy, here. Lucy Linda, here. The point is, what is here? See, with the English language, when we go back to ancient languages, ancient tongues, they was three-dimensional, and the sounds, when you go to ancient tongues, they speak a lot more from the gut. They resonate, they vibrate. That's not caveman business. That is deep sound wave frequency. That's why words have power, especially when you generate the word sound right from the roots, let you come up through all the chakras, all the energy centers, and then you deliver your truth. And everyone has their own vibrational frequency within them. That's why, like I say, when you hear sound frequency in the formation of words from certain people at certain times, you could have heard that 1,000 times before. But when a certain being says it, it hits home, it rings a bell. Yeah, it all alludes to sound. It will resonate at a certain vibration because you feel truth. You don't see to be deceived. To seeing can be deceived. You see what I'm saying? Eyes can be deceived. Truth is something you feel, and when it resonates, when your cells are reminded of a truth, they will resonate. Yeah, this, we don't really get it, but it's resonating. It's in the memory bank. It's somewhere. This is where often, when you start really, tuning into things, what you can identify the bullshit. Do you know what I mean? So here, the word here is synonymous with it's an ambiguous word, of course, like many of the English language words are. It's also to hear. So here states your presence. It will also reference to the the conduit for receiving sound. Yeah, it identifies. It's a label for your being in awareness of sound. So, and that's not like if you remember the language, well, language workshops from last year and symbolism, like nothing is a coincidence in here. It's codex, eyes to see, ears to hear. Like I give the example, when you go to ancient or even indigenous tongues and languages, I don't know that many languages, but I know a few, but even Patois, Wagwan, Midea, the most common response is Midea, Midea, Midea. I am here. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it means I'm good, I'm fine, but the translation, I'm here. Same in West Africa, Nangadef, Mangifi, I am here. When they're translating it, it means, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm cool, I'm good. But the actual translation, Mangifi, Nangifi, I'm here. The presence, but staying through sound. Now, what is the opposite? So what is the word that determines a lack of presence? When your presence, your spirit, your essence has passed on, yeah, and your body goes back into the earth, what is that process called? Death. You no longer hear. You're no longer, your heartbeat, the beats have stopped. You see what I'm saying? And we can, all the elements of the body and the society, it's all built on it. So if we talk about the organs, organ is an instrument. Your body is an instrument. Chords, heartstrings, beats, the drum, everything is externalization. The whistle, the air percussion flutes, they were all the ancestors, like God experience is itself in creation. You see? So once we was deep in, we could produce these amazing instruments that are extensions of the heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. The sound, the wind pipes, yeah? Wind pipes, and also the strings, the guitar. These instruments, they resonate with the body so much because we are playing ourselves. We are in harmony. Every good song has a good harmony, a balancer, an equalizer. Yeah, and that's why we resonate. That's why it all sound a baby from the get-go. It will start rocking to a beat and to music, as they do. Because this is instinctive, intuitive. This is a resonance. That's why music is so powerful. You hear music, it can make you cry, it can make you wail, it can lift you up, invigorate you. You go into a good deep bass sound and you just feel like talk about conditioning our body, getting fitter, getting stronger, getting healthier. We want to tone. We talk about that. It's all the tones. Yeah, it's all, and that's even language. Language is all. It's just a compilation of sound tones, but it's the resonance behind it, which we call the intention or the energy, so you can swear, curse in one tongue, but then use the same word to even kind of promote or, express excitement or gratitude or love through using the same curse word. Do you know what I mean? Or you can really belittle somebody with it. It's what we do with it. It's like I always say, energy is pure. There's no positive, negative, right, not in the energy realm. Energy is pure, but it's free will, it's there to be used, it's what we do with it. And that is our will, that is our power. We can manipulate, if you like, energy. We are all wizards and witches and gods and goddesses and, angels and demons and all of that kind of stuff. It's, of course, that's just our power. That's not nothing spooky. It's not. We are magic. Our very essence, shows we're magic. So and sound frequencies. Sound is a wand. It's one of the ones soul's light. So also, like when we go back to the universal tones, again, we tone up, we have to tune in. If you want to get on someone's wavelength or frequency, to their mindset, or, we have to tune into things, and because the instrument needs tuning and toning always. And when our internal orchestra, all our individual instruments are, healthy and operating through vitality, there is harmony and balance, and that's when an orchestra will sound amazing. And if one of them is out of tone or out of tune, i.e. the liver or the kidneys or the thyroid or something, it impacts the whole orchestra, the whole song, the whole ballad. Yeah, and again, like the word unit 7, Bomar broke it down beautifully with the word universe, stating you know what it actually, when you break down words, it's united and verses. But those polarities, that paradox of what the universe is one verse, it's one harmony, one orchestra, one tone, and we're tuned into all the resonances. If we are receptive to it, and you know, we can train the ear. Like I say, when you're thinking in thought, you're thinking in a language, so you actually listen to yourself. And we know this when we say, oh, I can't hear myself think. Do you see what I'm saying? So and that's why getting above the language and cutting out the chitter chatter of the mind is a very powerful way to kind of achieve mindfulness or gain control over the mind, because it's too loud sometimes. Like in the power of silence, I used to say silence can be so loud if you tune in, but if you're never silent, how are you ever going to hear God? God speaks very loud in the silence. And it's in the silence, when you really absorb yourself in silence, you can observe your thoughts, you can observe the sounds that are going on, the chitter chatter, the monkey mind. Yeah, and it's these sound waves, these patterns that create chemical kind of responses and reactions and generations in our body. Like, we know this, we can break it down to the science, to the chemistry, to the physics, to the mental. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's just a point to know that when you're ready to take sound seriously, you will take yourself very much more seriously and get yourself in harmony. And then you can sit at the ocean, the sound waves, the water waves, the waves, so harmonious, that can reset and rebalance you. It can heal you. It can send you into trances and, you know, higher states of mind, as can the birds. And it's all to do with light as well. Light and sound are two of the same thing. It's like everything is in the universe. It's that law of kind of correspondence, that law of polarity. Everything is the same at two different extremes, and it's no different for light and sound. I know that, I'm convinced. But you know, when you have to explain it in a language through science, it's not so easy. You have to feel it, you have to know it, see how it operates. But as soon as them first light waves go, nature starts the orchestra. It all goes on in nature as soon as the light appears. The honor, the light, they respond. Light has created sound as a reflection of itself, operating at another frequency, just as we did with the drum. God does this on many levels. We do this on many levels. And you know, when you make mental notes of things to recapture, to savor a thought, when it's worth savoring, you make a mental note of something. It's a note. You need to return to that sound. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is dictating our memory as well. It plays a massive key part. It's not dictate, but it plays. It's like the crystals of the memory stick or the quartz that hold the memory. It's a sound and a light frequency governing always. And when you check it in Genesis, to tell you that the first was the word. And you know, when you go through but you see people battling over what was the word, and what's the word. We know the word that is chanting the word 1,000 times, and they're chanting their word 1,000 times, and everyone's convinced, and then they'll take it. Like, you can do that with any word. I mean, do it with God. You say, I am God, I am God, I am God, I am God. You say that 1,000 times repetitively, you're going to experience God. Trust me, I know. Gold, my brother Mikey told one time, yo, you say gold 1,000 times. Man, I must have got to like 60. I was feeling gold. It was an aura. Audio. Again, we go back to it's the audio, the aux, but we're dealing with the electromagnetic frequency, i.e. light and sound. AU, that gold is what's saying that is in your aura. We're dealing with the sound frequency. Aura, we're dealing with light and sound. Sound, audio, light, ra, sun. Yeah, and that makes up your magnetic field. It's all in there. You see what I'm saying? Oset, Osa, aka Osiris and Isis. but the universal mother and father principle energies, light and sound, mother and every other kind of polarity they represent. You see what I'm saying? But they tell you it's the word, and now a lot of people spend whole life searching for the word. But listen to what they're telling you in the first was the word. It's ain't saying which word, but it's for you to, like, it's the word. Like, get it and know how that, so how does that become the first thing? You know, but you got to get that. All I'm saying is, yeah, sound is powerful, so you can use it to heal, you can use it to med, you can use it to realign, you can use it to experience yourself and God and nature on so many different vast levels. And you are instruments, so the more you tune, the more you tone, the more you're gonna, partake in the kind of universal orchestra, the more you're gonna reach balance and harmony, and the more you can really enrich and invigorate yourself through sound. But it's just worth knowing what tools are in the box that you came with and what you're equipped with through the most powerful universal frequencies. And adjusting this little video. There's so many other examples and ways and things we can connect, and other people do their thing and can connect it. But as soon as you tune in, it will reveal itself to you, and you can make a million more. So yeah, man. I hope everyone's sound this day and tomorrow.